We are slap bang in the middle of the January transfer window. Loads of rumours to get you started for the week, for you to enjoy, to speculate on, and all of that. So we're going to dive into a couple of stories that are out there at the moment, just to keep you guys up to date. Starting with Arsenal and Aubameyang. It sort of came out last week. We spoke about it a little bit on the One for the Weekend podcast. You can go check that out on the Ball Street channel and the Long Ball Street channel. But the Express Sport understands that it's moving forward. Gazidis is in Dortmund with Sven Mislintat. I struggle to say his name. He's the new chief scout who came from Dortmund. And this is one that looks like...
just bowls into what Wenger's office and goes, you may not have heard of this. I found a quality player.
Yeah, there's a diamond in the rough. I've unveiled him.
His name's Aubameyang. You're a fucking scout. What are we paying for you for?
If you're a new scout, you wouldn't go with one of your old guys first, would you? You'd go with someone else, wouldn't you? Looks. I think it's going to happen, isn't it? For 55 million. They want Giroud as well, apparently, in the other direction. Does that change the way that the deal looks in any way? Do you think it would?
I think it does a little. I think it does. I don't think
slightly less money.
I don't think they should. I think Arsenal will do their best and should do their best to keep hold of Giroud. I think he gives them an option that they don't otherwise have.
That's true.
Saying that, I think you do whatever it takes to get the deal over the line, get hold of Aubameyang. He's one of the most sought-after strikers in Europe and has been for about 5 years. So it's an excellent signing from them, and it's the first time I've been jealous of Arsenal since about 2004. But it's a really good lineup that they have up front if they keep hold of Giroud. I think they need that, don't they?
Wow, yeah. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Aubameyang is absolutely top drawer. Similar, I would have thought, to Lacazette. I can't see how both of those players start. So Giroud is an option. But
Giroud's got to get pissed off with all this, hasn't he?
I think he's out.
Time and again, every single player they go for. This story then comes out that, you get us we can have Giroud then. Go on, I'll give you Giroud.
Giroud is a very good forward and would do well in most teams in the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree with
Europe.
that. People don't rate him. I think he's brilliant.
He's not like a title winning player though, is he? That's the thing.
You're right. He's really good. He's not really.
He gets a lot of
stick.
He gets a lot of stick.
That means anything.
He gets a lot of stick from Arsenal fans.
From everyone.
I think they want. I've never. I think he's.
When I say everyone, I don't mean like you.
Literally everyone.
Yeah. I mean, but it seems to be quite a niche thing, quite an accepted thing to give Oliver Giroud a bit of stick. Whereas I would just rate him. I just think he's good.
If he's available for 55 million, it seems madness that there are other clubs out there that
don't want to get him.
Don't want him.
What are your boys?
Well, we're all right on that front.
We'll get onto that in just a second.
Why? We've got cover. We're fine.
Well, Batshuayi did all right at the weekend. Dortmund are saying that they want him to go as well, Aubameyang, because of a sort of string of disciplinary problems. Michael Zorc, who's the club's sporting director, said at some point you can't tolerate it anymore. I don't know what's going on inside his head. The fact that he can sort of play up like that, is that just human nature because he's a player that wants to get out the door, or is there a bigger problem there that Arsenal could do without when they're getting rid of a high maintenance player?
I think the latter. I think it's always a red flag when somebody has disciplinary problems. I think it's just, do you remember when it was you that was after Berahino and he was like pushing to go on strike and things like that, and whenever I see that sort of behaviour, it's a worry. If you're prepared to do that, I ask questions about the striker. Don't think me wrong, it's not a deal breaker. But
does it show ambition as well? That you kind of they want to go to your club.
You've got to be professional. There's a level of professionalism.
They're showing a lack of ambition, if anything, by going to Arsenal, isn't it? I mean, this is me as a Spurs fan digging them out. They're in the Europa League. Dortmund are in Champions League.
Yeah.
Well, they were until they got knocked out. But he's not going there. He's going there because there's a wedge. The amount of money he's going to be paid.
I think it's not.
What do you think he's going to come to England and win the league?
I think if he comes, the player that he is and the way that it will be sold to him, which I think is probably true, is you're going to be linking up with Lacazette. You're going to be playing in a side with Mesut Ozil. You're going to be playing for London's biggest club. I think there is a dream. There is a dream that can be sold that is quite accurate. I don't think moving from Dortmund to Arsenal isn't. It's certainly not a downward move.
No, I don't say it's a downward move, but they're comparable football clubs. So, he's coming in. He's going to get a lot of money. If he has an absolutely world-class season of 6 months and then next season, and he scores 40 goals in that time, and
6 months.
60
And
plus
next season.
so he scores 40, 50 goals in that time. And Monaco or PSG think, well, we need a number 9 for a season. He's going to be like, all right, ta-da. Because what happened with Dortmund was that he was denied moves to PSG and one other team that escapes me. And his reaction to the deal's been turned down because effectively Dortmund priced him out of the market at 75 million. Was him to say, well, I'm not turning up to team meetings anymore. And as a manager, you have no choice but to bin him out the squad because you can't set the example that it's okay for one and not the other. Arsenal are going into a period now where they need players of a certain mentality who are going to fight for the cause, who are going to believe in what Wenger's doing. Some of the issues, part of the reason why Sanchez hasn't played well this season at all is because he had one foot out the door. So then it kind of, they've got Mkhitaryan come in as well, who, there's been question marks about his mentality over the past. And, as a neutral looking at this, you think these are great signings, and they are. They're better than most signings you can get, and there's always a risk with bordering on world-class players. But, I think most normal football fans will look at it and go, there are question marks about it. That said, if it was Spurs, I'd have them both.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the bottom line, isn't it? It's worrying, it's especially worrying because of Arsenal, because of the way that the club's run. It's quite a totalitarian club. Wenger's rule is the rule that the club operates by, and that's non-negotiable. So bringing in a player who doesn't necessarily conform to rules is a worry, but he's wicked at football, so sign him up and hope for the best.
Ultimately, 21 goals in 23 games is what you got this season, kind of outweighs the worry of potential mental problems that might never manifest.
Yeah. Speaking of players who don't play by the rules, Ashley Barnes, linked with Chelsea, according to Sky Sports. Exciting times. They went, what was it? It was Llorente, then
Carroll,
then Carroll, then Crouch,
now
Ashley Barnes. Linked with, he's desperate for a target man. Ashley Barnes is the man, according to Sky Sports.
I mean,
Rory.
I know.
Get the job done. Go and get him.
It's very rare that this happens to me, James. I'm sort of speechless here. It's
4 goals in 26 appearances.
Good return.
He's also a very unpopular man at Stamford Bridge. He cut Nemanja Matic in half, and I think that a lot of people would suggest that Nemanja Matic's form never returned, at least for Chelsea. From that moment, it was a pivotal moment. Ultimately, what happened? Barnes went into Matic really badly. Yeah. Matic managed to ride it and get away with it, and Matic ended up getting sent off for retaliating. Yeah. He's never ever been forgiven by Chelsea fans for that. He's a very, very unpopular man at Stamford Bridge. He'll always be booed. Of course, that doesn't affect the club's transfer policy, but
all that aside, I mean, come on. Ashley,
he's a work. I mean,
no,
I'm not saying. The point, I don't necessarily.
Blown away.
It's not that I don't rate him as a player, because I think he does a job for Burnley. I think he's a very good player for that level of club, and I think he does he's pivotal to what Dyche has achieved there. He's obviously not a Chelsea player. He's obviously not a player who should be playing for Chelsea in the Champions League.
I like the idea.
He's not. He'll never play at the Nou Camp. That should never happen. There should never be a world in which you buy a programme at the Nou Camp and Ashley Barnes' name is on the back of it. That can't ever happen.
I think the size of a club is represented to the players they target for transfers. And I think you guys should be alarmed at the fact that Peter Crouch and
you're not
lovely
wrong.
Man, good on social media.
Very good.
Chelsea Football Club.
Great
Peter
eye
Crouch.
for a lady as well.
Yeah, she's a lovely one.
But it's a disaster. And you're absolutely right. We're not an aspirational club at the moment.
Although, in fact, as a backup option, the fact they're linked with Dzeko, that's
backup option.
The backup option is a striker, isn't it? It's like they're not buying.
No, it's not a backup if the Ashley Barnes deal didn't go through.
No.
That one looks more likely. 44 plus 8 million for Palmieri.
Yes, Dzeko's the dream here. It's the be all and end all, because if that one doesn't get over the line for whatever reason,
so back to Crouch.
What would you do if Ashley Barnes signed? What would you do?
I'd just I'd be at Arsenal on Wednesday night cheering him on, I suppose. But what else can you do? But I won't be happy with it. I'll be pretty gutted.
There'll be loads of Chelsea fans walking around just going, This is it now, is it? This is happening. Barnes is happening, brilliant. All right.
Yeah, because also, it's all very well us talking about it, and we can't make head nor tail of this. Three of us don't really know what to make.
No.
Can you imagine what Eden Hazard's doing? Eden Hazard's currently sitting with Willian, right? They picked up the paper and they've gone, yeah, Willian. Who's that?
Ashley Barnes.
Yeah, they must have.
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, imagine the conversation.
Burnley.
Forget looking like a Chelsea forward. He doesn't look like a forward. It doesn't look like a footballer. Full stop. It just looks like looks like he should be working in an office.
I can't see this one happening. The only case I can make here is that I truly believe that there was some mileage in Andy Carroll. I think the club wanted Andy Carroll. I don't think there's been any truth in Crouch or Barnes.
Is it though?
I think there's just a bit of trolling.
It could be, it could be wishful thinking.
They're going after British players because of the foreign rule.
No, we have got an issue on that front.
So Dzeko isn't an option, really, is he?
But Dzeko is the option for the pitch. The problem with Dzeko is he's banned in the Champions League. I don't really know what you do.
I reckon just leave it. Just leave. Stop going on. Don't get that secondary shots. Just leave it alone. Right? Okay. Just cope.
Well, yeah, just hope for the best.
Why is it taking Conte this long to solve this problem?
It's not Conte's fault. Nothing is Conte's fault.
Whatever.
It's not Conte's. No, nothing ever is Conte's fault. This isn't his problem. This is the board's problem. This is a really deep lying issue. Remember, he doesn't sign players. There's a weird structure at Chelsea where the manager manages, but isn't in charge of transfer policy. It's nonsense, but that's the way it is.
Okay. Let's stick with strikers. It's your turn. Spurs linked with, the Times are reporting that Real Madrid could be going for Harry Kane, 200 million quid. Daniel Levy is trying to warn them off. I don't know how this works. I don't know how you try and warn them off.
By saying fees.
He will not sell at any price.
No.
I'm warning you now.
Look,
this won't go away. This Real Madrid thing won't go away.
No, absolutely won't go away.
So
look, he's
going to go sooner or later, do you think?
I think there will be a time in his career where he probably wants to go and try Real Madrid.
Depends what happens at Tottenham though.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if he wins, say in some weird realm where we actually go on and actually win something, any human being, you're always going to strive for something else, something new, and you can understand at some point in his career he might think, well, I want to go and play for the biggest club in the world, Real Madrid, see what that's like. I understand it.
Do you think he's more loyal or more ambitious?
At the moment, his loyalty and his ambitions are on a parallel. Spurs are progressing, enjoying his football. He's loving, by his own admission, breaking records and doing that. If he stays at Tottenham, he probably will be, if he continues this, our greatest ever footballer. He's better than anyone else we've ever had.
If he continues this, he'll be the Premier League's greatest ever goal scorer as well.
Yeah,
that record is well inside.
So what it is, but the problem is with a player of his quality, and you're never going to not be on Real Madrid's radar, or I don't think it's quite right for Barcelona, but Real Madrid, PSG, these clubs are always going to be there. Until Kane says, I need to go, he won't be sold though, no matter how much money comes in.
So do you think that it's down to Harry Kane?
It's always down to the player. If they want out of the club, they have to make it known and they make it difficult, and eventually they get moved. Like Coutinho, have Bale. It's always down to the player. Always. The Spurs gain nothing. Harry Kane's much more valuable to Tottenham than £200 million. I know that's a lot of money for a player, but Harry Kane, through his delivery on the pitch, can project Spurs as a club to new levels, which is much more valuable than. Without Harry Kane, we've got no chance of winning the league, the Champions League. With him, with the new stadium, we can start to build a genuinely dangerous football team, not just one full of potential, one that actually delivers. But you need players like Harry Kane. It ain't about like setting your star players like Spurs have in the past with Carrick and Berbatov and Sheringham. You always tell you had to because we were nowhere near the top. Now, Kane's like nothing else I've seen at Spurs. Bale probably comparable, but Kane's delivering much more so than Bale did. So we're in a situation now where keep Kane at all costs unless he becomes a disruptive influence and start damaging performances.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with every word of it. I think Harry Kane is one of the best strikers playing the game at the moment. I think he's certainly the best striker in the Premier League. And I just hope he continues his form into the World Cup. And
I guess with Chelsea, you've seen the other side of the coin there. That with
Diego, Chelsea would sign Harry Kane.
But with Costa, you had your guy and you let him go. And now you now you're linked with Ashley Barnes.
Yeah, I know. Where did it all go wrong?
Yeah,
it went wrong at Conte, didn't it?
No, it didn't.
Well, if Conte fell out with Luiz and.
He fell out.
And Costa, you need him now. Costa would be perfect for Chelsea right now. He would drag you out of your poor form.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to have Diego Costa on form playing for Chelsea, but I'd love to have a happy Antonio Conte more.
Okay.
fair enough.
And last one, another striker. It's all strikers today in the transfer roundup. Liverpool and Daniel Sturridge. He's facing a straight choice between staying at Liverpool or leaving for Inter Milan. Sevilla were linked with him as well, but apparently there's not been an official offer in terms of taking Daniel Sturridge, be it even on loan. And Inter Milan want him on loan with a view to a permanent deal in the summer.
It's such a weird one, Sturridge, isn't it?
Do you make that move if you're Daniel Sturridge?
Yes.
He's got to go, isn't he?
Yes.
I think you do. For footballing reasons, you absolutely do, because he's just not going to play at Liverpool. But as a person, not really. I've been to Milan, it ain't all that. I wouldn't want to go and live there.
Yeah, a lot of graffiti actually.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's like, I'm not digging out Milan. Actually, I am. It's not as good as London. Do you know what I mean?
It's not.
Probably not even as good as Liverpool. Although,
I love that.
I think he needs to move, but I think what I find really interesting about Sturridge, like the chat here, isn't so much will he go, won't he go. I think what happened. What happened? Like when he was at Chelsea, when things weren't great under Villas-Boas. He was the shining jewel. He was the one thing. He didn't stop scoring goals. He just scored all the time. When he went to Liverpool, that partnership that he started with Luis Suarez, I'll give you, he was playing up front with Superman himself, so it made life easy.
But he was magic in himself.
But he was
as well.
magic.
Yeah.
His eye for a goal, his natural finishing, he's up there with the absolute best. Just convert the chance.
There's two theories here. One, that his injuries weren't managed correctly, so he lost part of what was special about his game, which was pace, but explosive pace and acceleration. And the other thing was that the game has adapted in a way that his body can't cope with how...
more importantly, Klopp's team plays in a way.
Yeah,
that's probably what I should have said. Yeah, Firmino, the way he plays is perfect for Klopp.
He's such a player, him.
He's so much better than I thought he was.
He's so good. I know, he's so good.
And, so it's almost like a shame, because you think about Sturridge and you think about that partnership with Suarez and the good performances he's had for England at times, and you think that there was a special player there. But as we've seen with so many special players, if you're a Brit or if your body breaks down on you, no fault of your own unless you're not taking care of yourself, then it's tough to make it this type of football in the modern game.
Do you think Italy would suit him more?
I think it's a great move for him.
Yeah.
I think he should definitely do it.
Or go to Inter.
I think he should go to Inter. It's on loan. If you don't like it, then you can come back. I think it's a good life experience for him. Is he 28? No,
Going on holiday.
Is that what he is?
I think I said, if you're on a personal note, if you're a footballer, you've only got a certain amount of years. If you've got 6 months, if you're not even playing, if you've got 6 months where you can go and live in Milan and see what it was like and see if you enjoy it, and when you're 36,
they got a good history
you don't miss out on that opportunity.
English players as well, didn't they? Paul Ince was there. They loved him.
Yeah. I think.
Name another one.
I think.
Wilkins.
There's no good in staying at Liverpool and playing one cup game every now and then. He's got to go to Inter Milan. Get a string of 15, 20 goals, bag in 10 goals. The end of your contract, or the end of the loan move, you've got English clubs looking at you. Now they're like,
it's World Cup year as well.
He's not going.
He's not getting the World Cup.
But if you're him again, you're going to go right. If I can do something special here, no other English strikers.
If he went over to Italy and scored 10, 15 goals in the last 3 or 4 months, then you have to look at him. But even if he
I suppose it depends how many strikers England take. But if England take 4 strikers, I can't really see him getting in. If they take a different approach.
Just quickly, who would you take?
Well, Kane starts.
Yeah.
I think you definitely go Kane. I think Vardy has to be a part of it.
Yeah, he's done well.
So there you start. I suppose there are 2 places up for grabs, but in terms of starting, I don't think that he gets a look in over those 2.
Rashford and
you go young.
I mean, just poor Walcott. Go on, just go. Because he's never gone, has he?
No, he went to the first one.
Oh yeah, sorry, he didn't play. That's a good point. Right, so that's a little transfer roundup for you. Harry Kane. Is there a price that Spurs would take for him? Daniel Sturridge, I think that's a good talking point as well. Let us know your thoughts. Should he leave and should he go to Inter Milan for a life experience? And who are the strikers that you would take for England at the World Cup? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit like if you're feeling generous. Subscribe to Ball Street. We'll see you soon.
I didn't know it was coming.